So I'd like to start off by clarifying that I am currently using the ChatGPT Plus plan. It is the most popular paid plan, and a lot of the settings are going to be similar to the free version as well, and we'll cover those right now. So in order to access your settings, you go to the bottom left on the ChatGPT screen, and then you click on that and you look for settings. And then you simply select that and you'll see a whole plethora of options here, and we're going to go through each and every one of them. So the appearance option here is quite self-explanatory. If you select dark, maybe you're a basement dweller and you don't want a lot of light on your screen, it will go ahead and make everything dark in the background. You can also give it a light theme, or you can select system. So the system appearance settings will basically follow whatever theme each device is using. So maybe on my desktop, I like it to be light, but on my mobile device, I want it to be dark in the background. So if I select system, it's basically going to choose on every single device that I'm logged into under this account and adhere to the system settings. The accent color just controls the highlight color used in parts of the ChatGPT interface. So for instance, you'll see that the voice mode button is blue right here. However, if I go back to settings and I change it to pink, you'll see that it's now pink. For language, I highly recommend that you actually choose the language that you'll be operating in. It will just make it a lot easier on ChatGPT rather than it having to detect it automatically. For enabled dictation, I would leave that on. Now, this is different than voice mode where you're communicating with ChatGPT and it's responding back. Dictation basically turns your speech into typed text. You could see the microphone icon is the dictate option there. You can access it by hitting Control-Shift-D on your PC. And now you see that as I am speaking, when I am finished speaking and I hit the check mark, it's going to go ahead and basically transcribe that, and then I could send that through. It's very easy if you don't want to type out long things, you just want to dictate it and then send it through. So I honestly don't see any reason to have this toggled off. Now for better accuracy, I would definitely select your language, especially if you're someone that has an accent. Even though ChatGPT is really good at understanding which language you're speaking in, it even says here, for best results, select the language you mainly speak. For voice, you're basically selecting the voice that's going to read the responses back to you. So once there is a generated response, if you want to, you could select the three dots, have it read it out loud to you. And this is basically the voice that you're choosing in this option here. Also, when you choose voice mode, you are also going to be getting responses in the voice that you select.
All right, I'm ready to roll with the different style whenever you are. Just let me know what kind of voice or tone you'd like, and I'll adapt.
And if you want to try out the different voices that they have them listed here. If you select one, you can simply press play and listen to the voice.
Hi, glad to meet you. I think we're going to do great work together. Where shall we start?
Now, what separate voices is if you toggle it on, ChatGPT voice opens in a separate full screen voice interface without real-time transcripts and visuals, and I actually don't like that. I always keep this toggled off because I want to see the actual written and visuals that are coming up in the back and forth conversation that I'm having in voice mode. Now moving on to the notification settings, it's basically just letting ChatGPT know when to alert you if you want to be alerted. Now this is helpful, especially if you use projects or are in group chats, or if you're doing a really long task, right? For instance, if you hit the plus icon and you go to deep research, and then you send it through, deep research can easily give you like 40 to 50 page answers, and it does take a very long time for it to generate it. It's a really lengthy, detailed, deep response, and oftentimes it could take 15-20 minutes. So if you don't want to just stay glued to your screen waiting for it, you can go and do other things and then get that alert when it finishes. So let's now discuss the personalization customization you can do within the settings. So base style and tone controls the personality of how ChatGPT is going to respond to you. For everyday use, I'd suggest friendly or efficient. And if you're using this for business emails or proposals, resumes, serious work, then professional is usually the best option. Now, on top of the base style and tone, you can choose additional characteristic customizations here. These are self-explanatory, so if you wish for it to be more enthusiastic, you simply go to enthusiastic and select more. The fast answers option here simply means that ChatGPT will prioritize speed over depth. I recommend that you don't toggle this on. Furthermore, when using ChatGPT, I highly recommend that if your ChatGPT is set to instant, you can hit this drop down right here and select thinking mode. This way, ChatGPT is going to spend more effort reasoning before answering you. And I found that accuracy is much better on thinking mode rather than instant mode. You can also see more advanced options if you select configure, and you can even choose an older model to work on, perhaps if you prefer that model to the current one. If you are going to use it on instant mode, I'd highly recommend that you toggle the auto switch to thinking on, and this will allow ChatGPT to automatically switch from instant to thinking when you ask a complex question. The analysis is going to be much better on thinking mode, so trust me, just leave it on thinking mode. Now this next section here is amazing because you could give custom instructions to your ChatGPT and basically give it a personal preference profile. You can also tell it a lot about you. So for instance, if I tell it I'm a web developer that runs a web development company and I consult in AI, and then at some point if I ask it a question about machine learning or neural networks, it's not going to talk to me as if I'm 14 years old because it understands I already have the background knowledge or foundational knowledge, and it will respond to me differently. So it's really helpful for you to tell ChatGPT a lot about you so that it could tailor the responses to you. That being said, I leave all of this blank because I do a lot of consultation work and I showcase the tools, and I don't want my responses here to influence ChatGPT's generations back to me. Memory is arguably one of the most important features within your settings. This is where you allow or disallow ChatGPT to remember things about you from past chats to make the answers more personalized. This is helpful to leave this on if you are using it for mental health reasons. Like let's say you recently went through a divorce and you're having these conversations and then you want to return back to the conversation. It would be annoying if you had to start from scratch. The advanced settings are self-explanatory. I highly recommend that you leave all of these toggled on. By the way, if you don't know the canvas feature within ChatGPT, I made a tutorial on that. Definitely make sure to watch that. So let's now move on to apps. I've also made a tutorial on a bunch of the apps that you can integrate within the ChatGPT platform. So basically these giant digital large language model brains can also utilize these various tools, and you can have more of a conversational style with them. So to give you an example, if you go to apps on the left-hand side of your menu, you could search for an app. So let's say Expedia, and I can go and connect Expedia. And now if I go to start a chat, it's going to be using Expedia as well. So this is going to be really helpful if I'm trying to book a trip. If I'm doing photo editing, I could hit the plus icon. I could connect to Photoshop. However, if you're curious on how to delete these apps, so to disconnect them from your platform, you can actually do that within settings. If you click on apps, you'll see all of the apps that you connected to. And if you no longer wish to have one, you simply select it and then click on disconnect. Now there are advanced settings within apps, but I would leave both of these off. Let's now talk about schedules. Did you know that in ChatGPT you can schedule a task to run and specify how often you want it to run? When you create a scheduled task, you can then manage them here. Let me show you. So if I go to a new chat, I could say something like, report to me the next day's weather forecast in Philadelphia every day at 11:15 a.m. I will send this through, And you see it's creating a task right here. And it says, done. I'll report the next day's weather forecast for Philadelphia every day at 11:15 a.m. Now check this out. If I go back to settings and I select schedules and I click on manage, you're going to see all of your scheduled tasks right there. If you want to remove one, you simply hit the pencil icon and you could select delete and it says scheduled task deleted. And that's how you manage your scheduled tasks. Now, billing and settings, that's basically going to give you your billing history. It's going to tell you which plan you currently have. You can upgrade if you'd like, and you can also edit your billing information. You could put in a different credit card, so on and so forth. Now, oftentimes people ask, hey, is ChatGPT learning off of my data? Maybe I don't want it to learn off my data. Well, if you go to data controls, you can select this improve the model for everyone option. And if you click it, you'll see that you could toggle this off. And that basically disallows ChatGPT from training their models with your data. Within data controls, you can also toggle off if you don't want ChatGPT to know your location. If you've shared links with it or you've archived chats, you can manage that. If you want to delete all of your chats, you can click delete all. Now, if you want to review your data or back up your chats, you can actually go here at Export Data and click Export Data, and it will basically give you a zip file of your chat history and other relevant account data. Now, some people don't realize that the amount of storage you have within ChatGPT is limited based on your plan, and here's where you can go to manage storage. This includes images and files you've uploaded that ChatGPT is still hanging on to. So for instance, if I select files here, it'll show a bunch of the files that I've uploaded, and I can go ahead and actually select the file and delete it, and this will free up some space. But because I still have a ton of space, I'm not really worried about this. And to check how much storage you have based on your plan, it'll typically say it here. So I'm only using 47 megabytes of 20 gigabytes. So I have a ton of space left, not worried about it. Let's talk about the security features within ChatGPT. If you'd like to change your password, you can do it here. If you want to use security keys and passkeys or use MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, right? This is like 2FA. It's going to send you one-time codes from an authenticator app. So if you're worried about security, it's highly recommended that you go through this. You can also go through your trusted devices. And if it's showing devices that you don't use anymore, you just used to be logged in there, definitely remove those trusted devices. You can enroll in advanced account security. And also, if anything shady ever happens, you can log out of all devices just to make sure that no one else is in your account and doing something fishy. Let's talk about parental controls. If you're a mom or a dad, you're gonna love this feature where you can add a family member and mention that they're a child and give restrictions to how they can use the platform. The trusted contact is a way for ChatGPT to assist with someone who may self-harm, so you can actually add a contact there. And it says that if you discuss self-harm with ChatGPT in a way that indicates serious safety concerns, they may automatically notify the trusted contact so that they can check in with you. They must be 18 plus to participate. You might think this is kind of odd, but realize that one of the top reasons and use cases for these LLMs like ChatGPT is for mental health chatbot reasons. A lot of people are working through their mental health issues, talking to these platforms, hoping that they'll be objective and give them really good advice and help them through a tough time. I'm not going to click on account settings because it will show some sensitive information, but you can add certain social media platforms and tweak some of the account info. So this part is actually really cool. You can set your own keyboard shortcuts to open new chats, to show the shortcuts. And how you do that is, let's say for show shortcuts, I can select this and then I could select Shift 2 and it automatically changes it to Shift 2. And anytime I press Shift 2, it's now gonna show shortcuts. And we just basically went through absolutely every single setting that is available within the ChatGPT Plus platform. Hopefully this helps you out. I know this is a bit of a beginner-friendly tutorial, so I assume a lot of you are new to these platforms. So if you have any questions about AI whatsoever, feel free to mention it in the comment section, and I will do my best to get to every single question and comment and address it. I appreciate you all for sticking around for the entirety of this video, and hopefully I'll see some of you in the next one. Now go touch some grass, go get some sunshine on your face, and don't just stare at screens all day.